Today I'll try something different and talk about two games, Fall of Magic and Our Queen Crumbles. These two games have a lot in common. They're both story games without any game master or prep needed. Both games are ideal for 4 players, where each player will control one character throughout the story, but the players will also share control of a central character. In both games, the players will play out scenes as the party moves to different locations. There's also a similar tone, a sense of fatality, of nostalgia in both games. Let's explore each game, starting with Fall of Magic. Fall of Magic is one of the rare story games on BoardGameGeek. It's a beautiful product with an impressive table presence. The main piece is a textile scroll, which will present options for the character's journey. The premise of the story is quite simple. Magic is dying, and the characters will accompany a magus on his or her final journey. The mechanical aspect of the game is also quite simple. You create a character simply by choosing a name and a title, and you begin. You place a token on one of the scenes at the magus's location. You describe a scene using a story prompt on the scroll. Each player does the same thing, and then you can either move the magus to a new location or continue with another scene at the current location. If you do move the magus, then you can do a scene with that character. You will repeat this process as you unroll the scroll, discovering new locations, new paths, until you eventually reach the end of your journey. The game ends when you reach the scroll's final location, or if the time allowed for your session is over, you can simply announce that a location will be the last one, and the players will try to wrap up the story at that location. Our Queen Crumbles doesn't need any material. On the other end, the initial story is more elaborate. Despite the valiant efforts of the 4 characters, the queen has been killed. The Gravity Witch, one of the 4 characters, creates a body to house the queen's soul for a certain time. The solution can only be temporary, and accompanied by the unnatural and crumbling queen, the 4 characters embark on a journey. Here you can see the map with 8 locations to be visited before the conclusion at the tree under the mountain. Each location has a small story you read when you come to that location. There are also questions for the players to answer before the players collectively act out a scene at that location. The scene ends when the players discover a rumor about the assassin, checking a box on the assassin's character sheet. As I mentioned earlier, there are 4 characters, and each character has a character sheet with traits and items specific to that character. You begin with some of them, and in each scene you can choose up to 2 more. You check the box and you add the element to the story. As the game ends, you will eventually also choose a conclusion for your character, choosing one of the options on the sheet or making up something else completely. Don't ask me to choose a favorite. Each of them proposes a different experience, a different product. Fall of Magic is a collector's item with an open world. You can use it to play in any setting. You could do something sci-fi, horror. The premise is vague, and the prompts on the scroll can also be interpreted in many different ways, ensuring a great deal of replayability. On the other hand, Our Queen Crumbles is an affordable indie game with a clear narrative. It will help players without much experience in story games. It's more approachable, you have a better sense of direction, and the game can be completed in less time. So in conclusion, these are both quality products and I highly recommend them.